Yes, sir. Hey, Gary, thank you so much for being on the show, brother. I'm so excited to have you. Met you at the Farmers Mega Conference and saw you speak, and I said, "Hey, I have to have you in the show. How you doing?"
I'm doing great. That's not one of my better speeches. I got to tell you, I was laying in the hotel room. It was like 8:30 in the morning, and some of the the camaraderie and the fraternization is some of my favorite parts of these conferences. And I was fraternizing quite a bit late the night before, and I get a text from Daniel, my right hand man, and we have a pretty good relationship, and he's like, "You better get your butt down here." It's by night. I go, "Okay, okay." I go, "I'll get down there by 9:30." But what is so important where you need me at 9:30? I go, "Okay, sir. Yes, sir." He goes, "Your presentation," and I'm like, I'm like, "Mine here says 1 o'clock." I go, "I thought I had time to practice this." After a long night out, sometimes your voice is a little off. And so I came down, took my shower, combed my beard. I was right down there. And basically, you guys were my guinea pig for my first rendition of that one. And it was terrible. But thank God you and a handful of the agents were very gracious about it. So thank you for being gracious. It was not my best, let's just say that. But it was real. It was real.
Yeah, no. Well, what's important was the content, that you had on the slides
Oh,
there.
yeah.
I
Yep.
think it's just really relevant to what agents need is recruiting. So you're with Top Tier Recruiting, that's your company. Tell us a little bit about your company and how'd you get started?
Well, we're going into our fifth year recruiting for insurance agents. Started in my basement. I'm sure you hear these stories from vendors. Started in their basement. As we talked about earlier, I'm a pretty huge He-Man fan and Thundercats, and I had three favorite T-shirts I wore pretty much round the clock in my basement of my house because I interviewed roughly 15,000 candidates my first 10 months. And you'd say, well, how do you do that? Well, got to remember, I'm working for myself. So I would work 6 or 7 days a week and I'd interview between 50 and 60 people a day. Right. And I knew 10 months into it, I was stacked out a month. I was doing all my own marketing, the selling, and then all the interviewing. And I was like, well, I love to hear my family over my head in my basement, but I kind of want more than. So I hired my first employee. That's Daniel, who's still with me. He's my VP. And from there, we've went up to as many as 12, 14 people. We're down to 6 or 7 just because we're constantly adapting and changing. And so, what we do is, we're the yes people. If you're looking for unlicensed, licensed, local, remote, group, single interviews. We've been doing this for insurance agents now since 2019. And I love doing what people hate to do. Agents seem to, in my opinion, the ones I've met they like selling, they like mentoring their staff, they like coaching, they like managing, recruiting. They don't like it, but I think with good cause. I don't think if you're the insurance agency owner, I don't think you should be the one calling these candidates asking them to please show up to your interview. You're already messing up the dynamic. You need a buffer person, and that's where we come in, and we do a really good job at it. And we ask all the hard questions first, so you don't have to deal with all the hard consequences. We get people's buy-in off the cuff. I mean, would you agree today's like a it's kind of I'll say this: society is getting more selfish. I don't know if that's something you may have observed.
Mhm.
And people, if they're not interested with this whole TikTok society, they're thumbing through the remote. And so I think it's important when we reach out to your candidates that we grab their attention, and that's what's in it for them. And many agents don't, they got the vague job post, and it's like, look, I'm transparent just like I am with you, like I was at the conference as I am with these candidates. And the first thing I get their buy-in is they're willing to work for that base pay, willing to work for that total compensation, the benefits, the schedule, the activity, you know, and then they got to tell me yes, or I don't want to spend my time with them or have them spend time with you. And the second thing I have to get their buy-in is that they're, if this is an office role, that they're willing to commute to your office and use that phone to make their money. If it's remote, we have other things, but we got to get their buy-in on the two hardest things. And after that, they've kind of earned the privilege and to interview them, whether it's for sales, service, management, or a combination. And what's really cool is candidates are thankful that I'm short and to the point with their time, and no one's ever walked right, had a phone interview where I get into what's in it for them first. And without giving them something they want, they're not going to be fully absorbed into this interview. So, anyways, that's what we do, time and time again for our agents. And I don't know, I'm just kind of talking on now. So this is
No, well,
well,
what I really appreciated about your presentation was even though you're in the business of helping agents recruit, that's like your business, but you showed us how you do it, which really made us understand that, wow, you really know how to recruit as an insurance agency. But tell us how you even started. Like, were you an insurance agent before, or how'd you even come about like this, like, career
well,
business?
I was 28 years old. I was a waiter. I was a bartender. I graduated college and told myself, man, if you're still waiting tables at 30, you're a loser. Now, just because you're an older server, I mean, I kind of like it. I mean, I don't think I had that in my head. So anybody listening, you're not a loser if you're a waiter at 30. It's just, I know I wanted more, but I didn't know what to do. I know I liked helping people. And I got into my first sales job, and I've always been one of those trophy winners, second place, third place, honorable mention, participation trophies. I got a bunch of them. But this is one of the few things that, like, selling and dealing with people, um, I got a lot of positive feedback, a lot of validation from it. And so in reality, I'm not a recruiter. I'm a sales guy, and I know what sales guys want, and I cut through the bullshit and I bring it to them. Sales guys don't like vague. They like the black and the white. They like the numbers. They like the real, right? And that's what I bring. That's what I coach my staff to do, and that's what I bring. I know what's going to attract salespeople. When I was starting my company, I was still applying to jobs because I didn't know if I was going to be able to feed my family. Matter of fact, on the day my LLC paperwork came, so did my Medicaid papers and my food stamp papers and all. And I knew I had a choice. I had my the welfare papers and everything on the one stack, and then literally on the same day, my LLC paperwork
Mm,
came. And that's symbolism. My daughter had just been born. And it's like, you're the man. You got to fill in these preconceived notions of what the man does. He's the hunter, he's the gatherer, he's the fighter, he's the provider, and in some families it's the woman, right? And that's, I'm not saying there's got to be a gender attached to it, but that was my role. And I said to myself, well, I got the choice to make. And so, I chose, hopefully the right way still. And I'm running my company, but I'm not really a recruiter. I just think I know what people want, and I know a way to effectively communicate that with them from the get go, and through the process. And I think through that process, that proper handoff, when people feel comfortable with who they just interviewed, their questions are answered, it always provides a better handoff to my agents, right? So at the end of the day, I take all those hard lumps on the face first, so the agents have an easier job. Let's use remote as an example. Wouldn't you agree that a lot of people, like a lot of candidates, are looking for remote positions right now?
yeah.
Right. But whether they're licensed or not licensed, there's a time in which they're officially, like, they're licensed and they're trained and they're ready to work on their own. That time frame is often different from what the candidate feels they're ready to when you feel they're ready.
Hmm.
And I've also found that promising them, it makes my job easier. I can promise somebody a remote job if they're looking for local, but I don't promise them, and I don't tell them it's a remote job, because I want them to earn their stripes first, so the agent can tell them when they can go, if they can go. Because otherwise, it's just making my job easier, and it's making the agents the retention harder. You know, so I don't know. I just think I know what salespeople want, and I think it's easy to talk to salespeople. Service people, there's no sales without service. We recruit for service people. Management, I mean, I got into management, henceforth started to get into my own company. And, salespeople, after a while, they want the natural progression. They want it, either they want their own or they want to start managing. So I don't know. I've been in sales now for, I want to be 46, so 18 years. And it's really one of the only fields I've ever gotten the positive validation And it took all that positive feedback from everybody else to kind of start to feel positive and validated on my own. And that's still a process, but yeah, I'd say I'm a salesperson. And so I just, as a side, I kind of recruit people, you know?
Yeah, every business owner ha has to be good at sales. But yeah, let's talk about a little bit about remote versus in person. What are the things, what are some trends you see out there as far as, working for insurance agencies, recruiting for them? Are agents being more
No,
open to that? Is it working for a lot of agents, or is there still challenges there? I mean, it's a lot to unpack, but
I think you could easily tell by the type of car, cell phone, and the way their pants are pleated whether the agent is interested in remote teams or not. And I can tell you this: some of the more successful agents in life that I've seen, that I've observed in my little life of doing this, is they're more they're not stuck on what was or what is. They're not stuck on it. They're just dealing with it. And they say, okay, well, they look at it like this: I know that people want remote, right?
mm,
And I know that in the next 3 to 5 years, the general progression is almost all of this is going to be remote. So, do I want to start taking my licks now and figure out a system or a process set for their success and my success? Or do I want to deal with it when I absolutely have to in the next 3 to 5?
mm,
Right. And, a lot of agents, um, I don't know if a lot of them, I don't think they really love to train people. Um, I think it's easier they think it's easier to train people in their office, you know. But I think sooner or later, if you're going to stay in this business, you're going to have to start to creep in those in that territory. And I also think sooner or later, not offering remote, it's going to be the same. It's the same way as not offering the medical benefits. It's going to be
wow.
so. I see the pros and cons in each. I mean, when I come into my office and I hear the hum of 12 people on the phones, you almost feel like you're cheating the system if you're not the one adding to that hum, you know? But on the flip side, this is what the people want. And at the end of the day, we're in a candidate driven marketplace right now, unfortunately. So I see the pros and cons in each. You know, I think I think it would be wise to dip your toes in the remote because as an agency owner, right, you're really held back by the geography that surrounds you. What if you're an agent in Pittsburgh and there's mountains around you, or you're in California with the mountains and the valleys, or Arizona or New Mexico with the deserts or whatever it is? Unless you're in like New York City or some of our favorite cities like Dallas, Austin, Houston, Atlanta, where there's just so many people and such, you're kind of held back by just your geography. But now you open it up to national remote. Well, you just open up the whole can of breadth and depth of people. And depending if you're an agent, say I don't know, say you're in New York City and you're having a hard time finding stable help that's going to show up every day and work for you, especially for maybe you're only paying 20 to 25 bucks an hour. You say, only. Yeah, New York City, you ain't getting people to show up for less than 45 or 50 grand as a base, right? But what if that, 3/4 of that could go to somebody in Arkansas or Iowa, and they would think you're the cat's meow. You know, that New York, that New Jersey, that California dollar might go a little further in Florida, might go a little further in one of the Carolinas, might go further in parts of Georgia or Alabama, right? So why not open that up? You know, but I get it. It's tough to, if you don't have that system set for their success, it's going to be trial by error until you figure it out. Or, I recommend, there's mentor agents out there that already have teams of 15 to 30 remote candidates. Why not link up with them? Agents, I haven't met an agent yet that doesn't love to share knowledge and educate people, you know? So,
Yeah, yeah, that's a great point. I think when it comes to recruiting, having a bigger pool is really key. You're going through enough people to find out one that works for you. And I think sometimes when it comes to training, in a way, like as you could share screens and listen to each other's calls and stuff like that, it almost makes training not actually easier. Like, you could with remote. Um, but
yeah.
yeah, well, yeah, good points there. Um, What about when it comes to like some of the hiring tips you have, you show like how to put the job post, you know? I think you said it beautifully as far as like what to show first, how to write it out, base versus like commission, that type of what's your thoughts on how to present the job post?
Well, I know this. My insurance agents love to replicate what's been successful, but then they also tend to kind of be like lemmings. In other words, they just follow suit with what everybody's doing. And there's two ATSs out there that that people use. I won't say their names. And what they're doing is they only have these set cookie cutter job posts. Or even if you're not using one of those ATSs, agents love to just copy and paste other jobs that are out there, right? But at the end of the day, there's huge chunks of agents that are regurgitating the same vague, generic job posts that everybody else is using, often managed by the same ETSs or other recruiters, right? And at the end of the day, they're all going over the same candidates and the same. And what I got to say is, what's going to stand your job post out more than a blade of grass in a field than the most vague? Well, it's 30 to 105,000. I pay you $0 to $100,000 a year. And then people show up and they're like, "Hi, I'm here for my $100,000 salary position." Well, because they had to use that cookie cutter job post that everybody else is using, it's all vague. And part of it is maybe they're not proud of their base, right? And so they don't want to say it, or they're too busy mimicking what all the other agents are saying. Well, the reason the base is like this is because we have such a high commission plan, and I pay more than every other agent down the road. And so here's the deal: nothing is sticking out. Nothing is sticking out. Agents aren't putting the raw numbers in their job posts, so they're getting these people to show up that they hopefully could sell the opportunity. Well, I know there's a selling of the opportunity, but how would you like more people? How would you like people that are more inclined to take that offer, right? So why not put your base pay, your total comp in there, right? Why not have a different job post than the other 20 agents in your town regurgitating the same thing, right? Why not? Well, everybody else is doing it. Oh, it's a cheap monthly fee. It's this, it's that. Right. And you don't care. But at the end of the day, and you say, "Hey, I'm only interviewing 2 or 3 candidates a month and it's cheap. I'm using this company. It's cheap." Right. Well, you got to interview 10 quality people to make one solid hire, give or take. I mean, have you seen that in your experience?
Yeah,
Well,
10.
but yeah, but no, it's really going to be 20. Well, why is it going to be 20? Because you got a 50% turnover rate, right? So you got to interview 10 good people to make one good hire times 2 to keep one. So at the end of the day, you're using these mediocre job posts on these mediocre platforms that are getting mediocre results. Maybe you're interviewing 20 people a year, and that's not even good enough for the fill-in on your turnover. Let alone, oh, you want to grow your company? Well, where are you getting these 50, 60 other interviews from?
Yeah. No, I see a theme here, transparency. I love the way you just have the base right on the top,
They
really
do.
big, and then have the total comp, right below that, right? Just kind of like
Well, do
base.
you think do you think that they actually read anything past what's in it for them? Do you think they care? I
No,
mean,
they're looking at the comp. I mean, they're looking at the pay, really.
I can tell you this, right? There's a lot of agents that require testing for people to even apply to their job posts, right? Hey, I don't know who you are, and I got to take a 45-minute personality test just to apply to your job that's vague. No, that's why they're only getting 2 or 3 people a month, right? So why are we making it harder? Isn't your job? My job as a recruiter is to attract as many people that are attracted to your compensation as possible. Get those people in front of you, and then it's up to you to sell yourself, the opportunity, the direction, to them, right? Either they believe you or they don't, right? Well, wouldn't you want more people? If you're going to do that, wouldn't you want to sell to more people than not? Why are you making it harder for them to meet you? And then if you really rely on these personality tests, you know why they're there is because agents in the times of abundance, well, I'll just thin the herd out. I don't want to interview anybody, but these are not times of abundance. For a lot of agents, this is a time of scarcity with candidates. So why are you making it even harder? I say make it easy. And then once you got those people in there and it's been easy for them to connect with you and to meet you and to get sold on you, then you have them in your office or you have them on that Zoom call for that last interview. That's when you say, hey, listen, I love where this is going. There's a good chance we could work something out. Hey, I have a quick personality test I need you to do. So before you leave the office here, I see this computer with the light on, ready to go. Why don't you go sit there real quick and take this test? And then we'll reach out once we know what direction we want to go, right? You'll get almost 100% of those candidates taking the test versus like 10% on the top end.
Yeah, no one's gonna want to do a test when they don't even know how much you're gonna get paid.
Right. And then they got to take the same damn test for every agent. Like, so they want to go work for XYZ agency, right? There's 20 XYZ agencies in your town that they may, so they're going to keep on applying and taking a 45-minute test for all 20. No, and they don't care. You know what I did? I would sit there and mass apply to 20 or 30 jobs that I would just quickly skim for the features and benefits that best suit me. I wouldn't even read half of them. And then I hit the apply button. If there's a 45-minute test, unless it's something I really have who wakes up one day and says, I want to be an insurance salesperson, a customer service person? They don't. They don't. Maybe that 2% of people like me and that 2% of the 2% like you become business owners, right? And studs at that, right? Most of them wake up and say, I have sales ability or I have service ability or I want to be in sales or service or something dealing with people. And I need a tool or a vessel to use my skills to make money. What do? They search through the jobs, features, and benefits. You put up a job for licensed insurance producer. Well, good luck with that. If you're looking to attract anybody, right? Or, what about, why don't you have a job that says inside sales representative? Okay, they click on it. Oh, crap, it's a freaking insurance. Well, oh my God, look at the base, the comp. Oh, I didn't know these are Monday through Friday jobs. Oh, I didn't know that they could make this much. Huh. Well, let me just apply and see what happens. And then they get themselves a really good quality recruiter out there. Hey, is this Bob? Hey, Bob, I have a copy of your resume. This is Gary. It's for the XYZ insurance sales position here in Boulder. You got a couple minutes? Oh, I do. Because if you go right into, hey, I'm with XYZ insurance company, they're going to hang up on you. But if you got a copy of their resume, a copy of their license, you're sitting next to their grandfather, I don't know, maybe you're eating their favorite meal. Now they're going to listen. Oh, you're with my grandfather? No, I'm lying. I have a copy of your resume. How's it going, man? Oh, what do you got to offer? Like I said, let's get into the offer. Let's get right into it. And I think that's a society. We're in the push button society. Give me the answers right now.
So do you recruit, or do you kind of have XYZ tell you what what they want, and then help them get what they want, or do you
Well,
get a candidate and then send it to show that to agencies that are looking?
it'd be like I got 6 different ways I help agents, my team, right? Now, an agent reaches out to me and says, hey, I want to pay you. I need some help. I want you to attract people. Here's the deal. It depends what you're putting out there, right? You are held back by what your offer is. I used to be a handsome man with a full head of hair. It used to maybe put my picture on something. I'd attract a bunch of people for you. I can't do that anymore. No matter how good I groove or shake it, or no matter how good you groove or shake it, you are not attracting people like you did when you were in your 20s. So what do we have to offer? Money. I was working with an ex-NFL, I won't say his name, an ex-NFL player, owns a big company, and he was trying to get me to get people to show up for a commission-only job. And he's like, I don't understand. I'm this guy. I'm that. I go, yeah. I go, well, we could try bribing people to show up. He's like, well, how? I'm like, offer them base pay. I never thought of that. Your name can only get you so far. We got to, people want to show up. They want to show up for something, right? But yeah, that's my job, is to put that offer in front of as many people as possible. And what you said, right? What if somebody, well, I want a person like this. I want a person like that. We can do sometimes traditional recruiting. There is a price for that. But in reality, most agents, when they really think about the pros and cons and like the pluses and minuses, they oftentimes don't have a compensation for the appetite that they want. Well, I want someone who looks like they're 20 with 30 years experience, who's willing to do 100 outbound dials a day, never says no, da 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 da, dee, 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 has all the licenses. It's almost impossible, right? So what I tell my agents, and I'll tell everybody here, is we will attract the best people your money can afford. It's going
You
to be the
do,
call for.
oh, sorry, do you a lot of times, what type of like advice do you end up giving a lot of times? Is it a lot of times, hey, let's increase the base?
It depends. Increase the base sometimes. Sometimes you don't have to do that. Um, I mean, you look at increasing the base, right? And let's just say a few years ago, the average agent was offering 30. Okay. And they're wondering why they can't get what they used to. Well, it's not 1992 anymore, so that's not going to work. But the reason is um, people are looking at saying, well, I can go work at Subway for 18 an hour. That's 37 a year. Well, wait, you can earn commission with us. Oh, I know I can earn commission with you, but that job has now devalued the current job I have right now. When I had the Subway open up outside my office offering 18 bucks an hour, all my guys that were making 17, I walk upstairs, you all got a dollar raise today. I didn't even let them think about it, right? And that's, I think, Target, Walmart, they're all offering what McDonald's are all offering 18, 20 bucks an hour. It's devaluing this, right? So people are like, well, I want more stability. Even the salespeople, even like the people who are already licensed, I want more. I want more. All right, I'll tell you what, well, why not give them what they want in order to get what you want? And you'd say, well, what do you mean? Well, if you really want to put somebody for 30 grand, right? And that's what, 15 an hour, something like this, 31, whatever it is. Well, and they want 20, you'd say, oh my God, that's an extra 200 bucks a week, whatever it is. Okay, it is. I'll ask you this. You're an agency owner. I had an agency owner say, well, I'll know typically in a month if they build up enough pipeline to start making some sales. Dan, when do you know someone is not worthy of keeping around anymore? Do you know usually within the first 30 days, or when do you kind of figure that they're not selling, they're not listening, I got to let them go? I mean, when do you know?
Yeah, I think sometimes 2 days, sometimes 2 months, but
Oh, okay, let's say 2 months. Let's say 2 months. Okay. You just put an extra $1,600 on the end of that hook to try to attract better talent. And now you have the ability to do so. The difference is agents don't like firing people, so they keep them around a little bit longer because they feel bad and maybe they feel like they failed or something. But at the end of the day, you just put more meat on that hook to attract them. The difference is instead of maybe your typical 30,000 at 12% up to 12% commission, you're hiring them at 42 at 3% commission. And if they're actually producing, you give them the option. Be like, hey, listen, dude, you can anytime you want to bump down to 30, I'll triple your commission. Let me know.
right.
After a month or two of actually making, because here's the deal. That first month, either they're showing you something that they're worth it or they're not. Am I right?
Yep.
So what
And
does
I
it
love that
matter
option of changing it for them for their benefit later.
for their benefit, for your benefit? These are two roads. These are two choices you already have given them, right? And I'm just using these two numbers fictitially. 30,000 at your regular, tiered commission structure at 12 to 12%, right? Or I'll give you your flat 3.5% at 42. Oh, I'll take the stability. I'll take that. Okay, great. So either they're happy while you pocket their comp in the name of stability, or they're saying, no, wait, I'm losing. I want to be on the boat. So no matter what, you win, they win. You give them what they want, but what you're doing is you're saying, hey, I got a little bit more skin in the game. I'll bet on you, kid. Okay. But what if after 2 weeks they've already been late 7 times and they're only doing 30 calls a day? Fire them. Would that actually cost you an extra couple $100?
Yeah, and with the higher base, you get more people to talk to too. So the chance of you making the wrong hire is less.
Well, that's exactly it, right? I mean, if you put up a job ad for 23 bucks an hour with the ability to earn up to 80, or a job for 15 bucks an hour with the ability to earn up to 120, but when you can earn 120 over here, well, let me ask you a question. Where would you rather draw your breadth and depth of candidates from? 23 and up to 80, or 15 up to 120?
Where would I, or if I was a candidate?
Where would you, if you were, I mean, you're a successful agency owner. I'm just talking quality of candidates or the breadth and
Right.
depth of, more people. Where would there be more people?
Oh yeah, the base. The base has to be higher for there to be
23.
more interest.
Well, hold on. Oh, Dan, oh, hold on though. I don't want people being complacent on my base. Well, what I would tell that person is, well, then fire them. Either they're producing for you or they're not. Or if they're slow learners, you're seeing improvements every day and they're serious and they're coming in on time and they're not outside on Facebook with their vapes and hanging out and doing whatever. Or if they are, if you look over their shoulder, it better be a post asking their friends what they're paying for car insurance, answers only. When I see young people doing that, that's enough. They're going through they're making their friends' needs right then and there. I'm okay with that, you
Yeah,
know.
that's work.
But so here's what I advocate for. That first bit of hiring, you're advocating for them. You're the father. Congratulations, kid. I'm your biggest cheerleader. Go, team. Go. Good job. But you're really sitting there back calculating. Man, they were late 3 times this week. Oh, they came back from lunch an extra 20 minutes late. Oh, they only made 10 phone calls today. What's going on? Or, wow, this guy hit up 70 calls today. He's not quite making the numbers yet, but the activity's there. I listened to his calls. He's trying. He needs just a little touch up, just a little touch up. Wouldn't it be much easier to invest in someone that's actually trying with the activity level, right? And whether you're paying them $2 or $5 more, who cares?
Yeah, it's so much. It's so worth it.
If they're because you wouldn't have had them there otherwise. And then if they're not performing, you need to let them go.
And if they do really kill it, and if they really do perform, then you're actually doing better with that comp plan because of the lower commission. So if you find a superstar with that comp plan, it's actually better for the agency owner too.
But what about if what about the other employees finding? What if we're worried about the other employees finding out? What if we're worried about, well, if we're letting all these people go, does that affect the morale here in our agency? I don't know if that was something that any agents out there are listening to that might think, but I have an answer for you, right? Let's create a bond with these new people, and it's going to be a mill. It's a machine, right? Well, listen, hey guys, you've all been telling me. I mean, I could probably say this if your current staff is probably saying, hey, we got a lot of workload for the amount of people we have. I don't think I've met a staff that says that yet. Well, these new people that we're hiring, right? If they're sales, their job is to maybe they're calling warm leads, and I know they can't sell if they don't have a license. Maybe if they have a license, they can, but maybe their first goal is just 2 or 3 hours of talk time a day to transfer leads to your current team members, right? And then if they're service, well, they're here to take some of the service work away from the folks. In other words, they're here to help you, right? And then if they say, well, hold on, you're paying these people $3 an hour more than me, I will give you that pay plan right now, but let's go over the numbers. I'm taking 10% of your commission away. Now you're down to 3. Oh, I don't want that. Okay, good. Anytime you want to drop down, let me know, kid.
Yeah,
Anybody who's performing for you right now, I'll give you the same option. But the reason why we're doing this is because you guys need help. Sales right now needs more ups. Service needs help, whatever it may be. So these people are here to help you. And if they don't cut it, they're out. You know, you mean these people are going to feed me leads until they can feed themselves? Yeah. Take the free leads, kid. Oh, okay. I haven't met a sales guy that wouldn't like a free up that somebody else fought for. Fine. You want to make it fun for them? Give them a $10 bonus every time they refer one over. Give them another 10 if they close, right? What more of a motivating factor to go get your license then? Or what more of a motivating factor to stay on the phones and start killing what you eat or killing what you hunt, you know? So
yeah. Hey, now, are you noticing with all the changes in the insurance industry that there's more licensed producers looking to switch positions than before?
no, nope. I'm gonna tell you why. It's for the same reason everybody asks me if my company poaches, and we don't have to. I don't poach. Dan, if you hire me, I'm not going across the street looking for another farmer's agents to go grab their people. You know why? There's a 50% turnover rate in this business. And it's the same, no matter, it's been the same since I started, 50%. It doesn't matter. If you got 10 people on staff, 5 are looking for a job, 3 are actively looking, and 2 are passively looking, which means I'm kind of happy where I'm at, but let me see what's better out there. That's why I like to work with ranges on my base pays, because I'm hoping one of those top ends of the ranges is enough to evoke a change from someone where they're at, where they're kind of sort of not happy. And that's 50% of them.
It's
So,
not, yeah. In
no,
California, it seems like there's a lot of producers, good producers that are available looking for jobs, maybe because the agency or the brokers didn't work out where they were. Um,
I think it's yeah, half the people are looking right now. I don't even have to know the office. Half the people are either actively or passively looking. It's
yeah. Well, so what's like kind of like the trends you see that's you're able to help agents with right now? Is it more licensed or unlicensed or group or what would you say?
Well, we were just talking a little bit before this, right? And my company has had to morph 5, 6 times since we started, right? When we first started, all we did was unlicensed candidates and group interviews. And we still offer that. And, to be quite honest, I really don't think unlicensed candidates are worthy one-on-one times with my agents. I think I like to put 3, 4, 5, 6 in an interview and let the agents hand pick them, especially with the show rates and everything. We typically have a 70%. But um, oh my God! Repeat that question one more time. I'm trailing off. See, I did it. I did.
What's working? What's working for you? What type of people are you finding for agents, or what type of like the licensed is working, or the unlicensed, or the
Oh
group?
yeah, okay, yeah. I'm sorry. So we've
Yeah.
morphed from like this time last year. We had maybe a dozen, 15 people on our schedule with nothing but unlicensed group interviews. Now we've morphed from that to almost exclusively licensed. Right now, I got probably half a dozen, 15 people for the local licensed on our books this week, right? And then we're supplementing that with the direct hires. And the direct hire, for anybody out there that doesn't know, we're offering free interviews with already scrubbed and vetted PNC licensed candidates. And you're only paying us if you have to hire them. I'm at the point now, I know enough agents and I know there's enough people out there looking. So our business has kind of turned into more traditional recruiting, if you want to say that, even though we're not charging the traditional recruiting prices. And it's went from that whole volume group style to smaller licensed. At least that's what people are asking for more, at least from us. I know other companies are doing different things. I only know what we're doing, right? So this time last year, we had no licensed stuff on the books. This time this year, it's all licensed. But anybody out there that's listening, if you are an unlicensed person and you like to have start people from the ground up, we're still doing that all day. It's still available, but like I said, the market's changed on our end. So more licensed, yes.
And you only charge your clients if they make a hire?
Well, out of the multiple ways we go to bat, if somebody wanted group interviews with unlicensed candidates, for those we take payment up front. If agents wanted, I have a local package where we guarantee at least 5 already PNC licensed candidates to work in your office locally. That's a prepay also. But for my direct hire packages, where I let the agents interview the people first for free, no one's got to pay me ahead of time. For that, it's a free interview, and they're only paying us if they make a hire. Right. So
Nice.
it depends. It depends if the agent wants to share these candidates with other agents that are in our network, or if they prefer that we just go and recruit and do it kind of just for them, And there's a split. Some people like us to just, go get their own candidates and only present them to them. Other people say, in my current need, in my current state, I'll go on a free interview and pay somebody if I want to hire them. And it's pretty reasonable. I mean, $3,500 for an already licensed candidate. Now what I tell agents though is it's like this: each agency has something important to them, right? My State Farm peeps are hardcore into life. Allstate was more just P&C. You farmers guys are kind of a mix. Now Allstate's getting back into life with their outside. I don't know. It's so each agency is, so one agency is like, well, I prefer more commercial, right? Whatever it is, right? If that's what's important to you, right? The only way you can really vet these candidates is to ask them those hard questions, to maybe role play those specific sales or service role scenarios where you're talking about what's important. If it's life apps, if it's bundling, if it's whatever it is, um, you should be asking those specific questions. You should be having those role plays, and then also specific questions. Well, State Farm tends to work with NECO. Allstate tends to do leads managers. Farmers is whatever. I have it written down, whatever that is. And you'd say, well, do you know all the systems? And they say, yeah. Well, they may not be lying, but speak. What specific systems are you talking about? And then ask questions, higher level questions. Well, when NECO or when this tends to freeze on you or it doesn't work, what's your workaround? How does it affect your dailies in the office, right? So many times I'm listening to these interviews with agents and they're just they're too superficial. I had a lady went on 3 1-hour interviews with her whole team. She asked 26 questions and only one was about insurance.
Yeah, the more specific you get to the job duties, tasks, and the
What's
better,
important to you?
yeah,
Like,
that's
educate me as a farmer's agent, right? You guys are obviously you sell your P&C, and you guys also sell life insurance. And am I right?
yeah. Hmm.
And are they both like? I know this, like the P&Cs, when the licensed salespeople sell those, sometimes when they sell life insurance on top of that, it'll increase their percentages for their commissions for the end of the month, and they get their little side bonuses, and I'm sure that affects you. So why not talk about that at the interview, right? Well, how do you
Yeah,
sell? But
exactly.
so many people don't do that, and sometimes they just need to sit down with someone like us. And what we do is we compartmentalize and structure their interviews so there's a rhyme and reason, right? That one lady that says, oh, she went through the 3 hours interview. She says, I'm not happy with my hire, and she lied. And you guys, well, we went back to the transcripts and the tapes, and we were like, you asked one question about insurance, and it was, do you know all the systems? And the lady goes, I know all the systems. And just that answer alone sucked. I was like, oh, and then you hired them. And then so once we listened to that tape, and it was all about the hair, the nails, the kids in college, it was just so. And then on repeat, I said, what's important to you in your office? Let's get that out in the open. So now we restructured their interviews, right? And we work with them. I'm going to give them a credit. I'm going to give them a little credit back so they can, get something out of it. But now hopefully they're armed with the right stuff that's important to them. So they're asking the right questions so they get the right people,
Yeah,
right?
can you do the job or not? What are some great, what are your favorite interview questions or the interview process, like as far as how to find a winner and any red flags or any tips there?
Well, I can tell you this: my first interview question that I love to ask everybody, and I guess you might have to have a slight sense of humor about yourself to ask this, because if it's asked too dry, it might come across wrong. But say you could be on a non-licensed, or let's just say you are licensed on this one, and you say, all right, well, I'm the agency owner. You're Dan. You're the candidate. Dan, Dan the man, why the hell are you here right now? You must be a glutton for punishment if you're applying to an insurance sales position. And I'm looking at your resume here. You got the experience. You're coming back, dude. What's the matter with you? What? It's either you're a glutton for punishment or there's an intrinsically motivating factor. What drives you to sell insurance, brother? Tell me. And then you get all the surface. You get the primary answers. The primary. Well, I love to make my own schedule, or I'm a very competitive person. I love to make my own paycheck. Oh, money's important to me. Winning's important to me. R. Oh yeah, I've heard that before. Well, why is time important to you? Why is money important to you? Why is winning important to you? I got daddy issues. Oh, well, no, really, why? Well, I'm a single father. I got 3 kids at home, and when I'm not working, I like to spend time with them. Blah blah. Oh. And when they give you that real why answer, not the primary answer, but maybe the secondary, the third answer, right? You got to get uncomfortable with yourself and keep asking, well, why? Kind of like my daughter right there, right? And she's 2. Why, daddy? Why, daddy? Why? And then you get the real answer. This is the most important part. You take your pen and you write down in your notes what the real why is. You want to know why? Glad you asked the question. It's because when you're holding people accountable, isn't it easier to hold them accountable to what's important to them, right? Whether it's time with their family. Maybe that kid wants to earn earn a new motorcycle, right? New Kawasaki motorcycle. How much is the motorcycle? It's 24 grand. Oh, 24 grand. Well, what do you got to sell here to make 24 grand? Well, you got to sell XYZ. How do you get to XYZ? Well, let's do the reverse math. What's your close rate? Well, it's 1 out of every 20. So let's do the reverse math. What is the activity level you need to get this bike? And then be their biggest cheerleader. Maybe it's not even that. Maybe it's just time off. Maybe it's, he's got 3 kids. His wife is sick. Maybe she just left, whatever it is. Maybe instead of giving this guy a $500 bonus, maybe this bonus is 2 days off with 6 tickets to Six Flags and a $300 gift card, Visa gift card to send him on his way. Little things
There you
like
go. Yeah. It does take skill to get that out of them, and that's why you're saying the way you ask is the way you get that out. But once you understand why, then you can almost find out, hey, how deep is their motivation level or what really drives this guy or her, and really be able to understand, oh, I'm able to help this person. I get this person. I like this person. So yeah, that's awesome that you try to get to that right
you
away.
want to help them get what they want. That creates loyalty, hopefully. That creates many things. If you give them what they want, I don't know. I don't see anything bad happening out of that. And plus, you just got to know ahead of time as a business owner, you're always going to give more than you get back. Always, always,
Hmm.
always. I'm learning that.
Yep. That's just what we signed up for. What else are you learning this year?
What am I learning this year? I'll tell you this, I've done a lot of books on mindfulness, believe it or not, because I don't know if you see my picture here, but this was me just a few years ago before recruiting. Do you see the picture with the no gray? Maybe
No, I
not.
just no, I just see your name.
See that? Oh, you don't see that? Oh, hold on. Well, what I'm learning is things happening so quick. I'm sorry, I had a stock picture of myself from 3 years ago with like perfectly blonde brown hair and like no. I've definitely aged a few years, losing sleep, so you guys like you can sleep. But I've been learning a lot about mindfulness and trying to soak up the moment and not be stuck on what just happened or what's going to happen because I'm losing so much of right now and being intent. And I'd be a liar to tell you it's easy. But I listen to a lot of books on tape. I've also listened to, I've been reading Alex Hormozy's book, The Winning Up, or which one is it? I don't know. It's on my Audible. But my biggest things I've been into right now is mindfulness. So trying to clear the hum and center and be intent. But yeah, that's what I'm learning right now. Right. It
Yeah.
depends on what I'm lacking. Sometimes I'm like, man, I'm lacking in my relationships with people at work. That 12 and a half by Gary V. Have you listened to that one? Oh
Mhm.
my God. Um, the what's it called? When he talks about his kind candor,
Mhm.
about just being honest, having the hard conversations with honesty and empathy. First, having empathy for people. Sometimes I fail in that department. I'm more process motivated, result oriented, and we're dealing with people.
Mhm.
And these people, without your people, they make your business. You're nothing without your people. I'm just Gary in a t-shirt in my basement, interviewing 60 people a day with a gun to my head without my people. But that Gary V book's a really good one. And this, what's his name? It's a mindfulness professor. I'll tell you what it is real quick because I want everyone to. This is one of my favorite ones. His name is. He's a Harvard professor. His name is Ronald Siegel. The Science of Mindfulness. I got about 20 of his lessons on Audible, where he's connected all his lessons into a story from his Harvard classes, and it was really good. Sorry. Oh, but as far as also selling anybody out there, gap selling. You want to talk about learning? I listen to that book at least once a year by Keenan. So I'm going to do a little pitch for my boy Keenan here with gap selling. So. Um, I got 2 kids at home. I got a 6-year-old and now a year old. And so you're a business owner, you get caught up and you take it home with you, you perseverate on it, you sleep on it, you wake up on it, and then it's kind of hard time to see the forest for the trees. Here's my beautiful daughter right in front of me showing me her latest art. That's more important than these thoughts in my head right now. Or my son having that few minutes in the morning for have a bottle with him, a baby bottle. Um, uh,
Oh yeah, I've seen pictures. Yeah,
but it
yeah.
slows me down. It gets. And so then once I get those out of the way, because otherwise I have this nagging, this feeling of failure, something that I'm not spending the time with my family, like I'm failing that. And once I can, I get that little time in the morning with my son. Tonight when I go home, I'll have a little time with my daughter, and I need that because a lot of times those times shift depending on work, and I don't want to be so successful one day that my daughter doesn't know me, and or my son. So, anyways, I'm going off on a tangent. Mindfulness.
No, yeah, no, good stuff. Yeah, it's not easy being a business owner, so I know exactly what you mean. Where are you based out of?
I'm in a little snow globe town called Spencerport, New York. It's on the Erie Canal.
Oh, okay.
Suburb. It's a western suburb of Rochester, New York. But anybody out there, the Erie Canal, you look up Spencerport. It looks literally like the snow globe right before you shake it. That's what it looks like. Cute little town.
And you're just helping agents all over, huh?
All over. I think Anchorage, Alaska, Hawaii were probably my farthest. I don't know how much farther I could get. Every state. I'm in here in upstate New York, and I've helped almost every. I mean, name a state. I've either recruited in it, recruited for an agent, or pulled candidates from that state. Absolutely.
Nice. Yeah, well, if anybody needs your help, man, how can they reach you?
This is the part where I'm supposed to like. I'm not prepared for that. I'm a horrible guys. I mean, I'm a terrible salesperson, I guess. But you can call 406 recruit, right? Or one thing, if I could, I'd like to show everybody my. Can I share this? I can show. I just want to show people my website
Yeah, let me enable sharing. Yeah, go ahead.
because I purposely put a bunch of farmers agent candidates on this before the that farmers mega conference we were on. Can you see my logo and everything here? Right.
Yep.
So I'm Top Tier Gary is my website, and people hop on there and see I have a login or a sign up. And once they sign up, it's free, and we're not spamming you with crap or none of that. Not yet, not yet. But you can go to my candidates page, and for any agents out there that would like a free interview with these candidates, uh, you can filter it by the brand or the carrier. You can filter it by local, remote, or hybrid, what state they're in, how many policies or items they're writing up a month, how many premium. And, one that just sold not too long ago, that went really quick. We'll have a little blurb about these people, their experience. You can take a look at their resume. It's there, I promise. And then for some of them, they have the screening videos, or I hop on real quick for 10 minutes and interview them, right? And then to keep it simple, you could just say, heck yes, I'm interested, fill the form out, and a member of our team will reach out to you to connect you with the candidate.
Wow, that's
And
pretty cool.
basically, I'm lining up candidates. They're free interviews. All we ask is they have certain salary requirements. Like some of these people, they're looking for at least a 40 base. Just offer them that. And we have
Mm.
our either or offers where maybe if agents can't quite afford that, I have some ways we could, offer the either or. So, anyways, this is what we offer here. Any agents out there, it's Top Tier Recruiting and Consulting. Top Tier Gary is my website. And if you're super interested, you can call my cell phone at 406 Recruit. Here, let me unpause that there. 406 Recruit.
Nice. That's pretty cool. Seems like you had a lot of candidates in there too.
We have 242 right now. But here's the thing, it's touchy, right? Like this candidate might have been available 3 days ago, and they might have just got picked up yesterday or today, right?
All right.
So part of this is urgency, right? Typically,
Absolutely.
you don't put these candidates in front of more than 3 or 4 agents. So just so you know, I'm not lining up 20 agents for one candidate. It's not good. But I tell my agents, and this you could use this in your regular, in just your normal everyday life, is like, look at, if you find a candidate that you absolutely love, don't let a dollar or two an hour get in your way of it, and don't hesitate. Make the offer right away and get them excited about working with you because they are stacking up their offers. I had an agent that I worked with just recently in Oklahoma, and he made five offers, and four accepted, and they all ghosted him at the end.
Hmm.
I'm going to tell you, it's because he didn't follow the process and he wasn't urgent, not urgent the way I set it up. So all I'm going to say is this, right? If anybody out there is listening, if you're too caught up in getting the poor results you're getting on your own, right? Don't pay a professional money for you to take over and continue it the way you've always done, because you're going to continue to get the same results. If you pay a professional for the consulting, the recruiting, whatever it is, follow their process, because you're not the first one. You're one, you're not the beta tester on this. You're number 1254. Everyone else has been the guinea pig. Follow the system, try a different system to evoke a different response, and that's to get the hires you need. Anyways, sorry.
Yeah. No, and that's what you're there for. You're the pro. So for all the agents that need help, man, I think you're offering a great service because that is something that's true about our business. It's all about people, and finding people is one of the most important decisions an agency owner makes. So,
How about as a father, as a husband, anything, as a friend? People. If you don't surround yourself with the right people, what are they? What's you probably know this. You are like the five most people you surround yourself with. You know what I'm talking about? You've heard that.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
It
so true too.
really depends on who you hang out with, who you surround yourself with, and to probably limit your time with people that aren't adding value to you, and also limiting your time with people who don't make you feel good about yourself.
Yeah, and you spend a lot of time with the people you work with. So,
I love the people I work with, man. I'm lucky. I've lost a couple lately. It hurts because they're like family, and you go through those pains, but it's part of business. It's part of life.
yeah, yeah. I know what you mean.
I
Spend that
know.
time.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, that's what business brings, The uncertainty is what also makes it exciting. So we're gonna keep plugging away, have a good attitude about it, and see what each year brings.
Exciting. Neither one of us are bored right now. I can tell you this much.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right, Gary. Well, thank you so much, man, for your time. Learned a lot from you. Again, the presentation during this talk to all the agents out there. I wish you guys the best. Well, when it comes to finding people, and if you guys need some help, definitely hit up Gary. And
Well,
yeah,
thank
man,
you.
we'll keep in touch. Maybe we'll see each other around in a conference or something. I'm not sure if I'll ever be out there. That we're in a different total close, but somewhere in the middle. Hopefully, we get to see each other soon again.
Yeah, man, it was really good. You had a great talk. Hopefully somebody recorded that, because anybody out there, right? Your talk at the Farmers Mega, it was a real man talking about real things. And what you were kind of alluding to mindfulness, right? Putting one foot in front of the other, creating action, not getting stuck in the past. Like anybody, I don't know, did somebody record that? Did Josiah or anybody record that? Anybody out there, I hope you watch it, because it was a really, really good talk. So, anyways.
Oh no, thank you, Gary. Yeah, I got good feedback on that. But yeah, same to you, man. I'm really glad we got to able to connect during that
Yeah, this was
conference.
cool,
And
man. I get nervous on these things. So this is the first one I wasn't like free. Well, I was excited, that, but you made it pretty easy. So thank you.
no, yeah, and you brought a lot of value. So again, once again, appreciate your time, Gary. We'll keep in touch. Have a good one, man.